Hello and welcome to the Pelican Sports Spring Post Game Show. I'm Tommy Chrysan with former LSU Tiger and College World Series champion Buzzy Hydell. Tigers complete the sweep over Wichita State. Buddy, Buzzy.
I'm your buddy.
Bad. But my buddy Buzzy.
That's it.
How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Good to be here on a kind of a cool Sunday, huh?
Yeah, that little rain came in, and then all of a sudden the temperatures went zoom.
They tell me in the sun it wasn't as bad, though. I wouldn't know it. I was working all day.
There you go. Buzzy, you've seen a lot of LSU baseball this year. Obviously, you're part of the LSU Sports Radio Network, you and Doug and Chris. And the team completes the sweep today, 9-2, the final in Game 3. Over Wichita State, Coach Todd Butler, who used to be at Arkansas, used to be at Alabama, was one time at McNeese.
Right.
So, Todd, familiar with LSU, familiar with Baton Rouge, but not the Wichita State team that LSU won their first 2 World Series titles against. But good job by the Tigers, probably supposed to go out and win all 3. You go out and win all 3.
Yeah, and this was a team, this Wichita State team. The Shockers were a nice team. They weren't anything like LSU faced in the weekend before in Houston, but certainly a team that they needed to get out to a quick start with and get a big victory against. So it was a nice job by the Tigers to come out, sweep the series. For Tiger fans, if you don't sweep before SEC play, it's not a good series, but it was good for them to come out. Alex Lang to get back on track. Jared Poche continue to do his thing. And Eric Walker, as a freshman, come in, pump strikes today, and give his team a chance to win.
We're going to talk about it a little bit, but what Jared Poche, the senior from Lutcher, is doing, I mean, we're both baseball guys, lots of baseball people out there. What he's doing, we can't describe it. There's you can say mind-boggling, you can say insane, crazy, but, ridiculous. You can throw all them words out. But none of them really fit because, Ben McDonald has a record of scoreless innings. He's still a little bit away from that.
Yeah.
But what he is doing is remarkable. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it really is. And I was able to call, Doug and I called the first game against Army when he threw the no-hitter. We called the second game against Maryland where he took the no-hitter into the 9th. We called the game in Houston against Baylor where he threw a shutout for 7 innings. I don't know what to say either. We've seen a lot of baseball. Tommy, you've seen a little bit more than I have. But what's amazing, you got a guy like Lang who throws the ball 92 to 94 miles an hour. You got some guys on that team that've got some good stuff. And I'm not telling you Jared Poche throws the ball soft by no means. But it's not like this guy's throwing, 94, 95 miles an hour, which seems to be the norm these days. He's throwing 87, 90 miles an hour, but he's pitching at 87 to 88, 89 miles an hour. Curveball, fastball, he works in and out. As a left-handed pitcher, I know that you, Tommy, that's a little special for you, too, to see a guy who maybe doesn't blow up the radar gun, but guys just can't seem to score a run right now. 29 innings without giving up a run. Ben McDonald, it's 44 innings and some change, I believe, I don't think he gave up an earned run. I think he gave up a run. We'll check that, but I don't think it was an earned run for 44 innings. Jared Poche's on his way, still got a ways to go, but just incredible.
No, a couple of things about it. I had a couple of people say, well, it was Army, it was Maryland.
It was a 7-inning game.
Let me tell you something. We were both lucky enough to play college baseball, okay? 2% of the people that play high school baseball play college baseball. So I don't care if you're playing for Army or you're playing for Maryland or it's a 7-inning game. If you're on one of those rosters, you're a very good baseball player. Now, certainly in the world of college baseball, there are players that are better than others. There are teams that are better than others. But what he's doing is incredible. And here's my other point. Greg Maddux did not throw hard. But he could throw strikes over a bubblegum wrapper, as they used to say.
Yeah.
That's what Poche is doing. He is locating the ball, which would lend credence, all you youth ball, travel ball people out there. Velocity's nice, velo's nice, but if you can locate the ball where you want to locate it, you're going to get people out, and that's what it's all about. And Poche is rewriting the book on locating because in his 30, what was it, 29 innings?
29 innings, that's right.
2 walks, and both of those came against Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay, Lang threw 8 innings Friday night against Wichita State. Didn't walk anybody. That's a formula for very successful baseball.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I know you like the youth game, coach some youth. I've coached some youth baseball over the last few years. That's the thing I try to preach to these young guys. But it doesn't change. Is that amazing? Even in the big leagues, if you got a guy who gets behind an account, doesn't throw strikes, And in that case, when those guys throw 95 miles an hour, they still get hit because they can't throw the ball over the plate. Same thing. My dad taught me at a young age. I did some pitching. He said, the velocity will come, and he was exactly right. He said, just learn to throw strikes. He said, and as your body matures, as you get older, you'll throw harder, and it'll be lagniappe because you've already learned to throw strikes. So very impressive, and it's fun to watch. Hopefully he'll knock on the door of Ben McDonald's 44 innings.
Yeah, but when he gets to about 36, 37, then we'll start knocking on the door. We don't want to say nothing yet. Now, one thing before we go to break, Buzzy, backing it up to the trip to Houston, playing 3 very good teams. LSU goes 1-2. Tip of the hat to the Tiger fans who traveled over there, the Tiger fans in the Houston area that showed up. How was that experience, kids playing in a big league park, which gets to happen when you're at that level of LSU and other major college programs? But how was the weekend aside from the 1-2? And what does that do for the baseball team as now, next weekend, they embark on the 10-weekend grind known as the SEC slate?
Well, I think you can look at it 2 ways. So, a lot of times in the past, LSU has gotten kind of some negative publicity for not playing a tough preseason schedule before they face SEC competition. Well, the SEC competition, there's a reason for that, Tommy. They have a tough enough time getting through the SEC. You don't want to play all the great teams at the beginning, and they're like, well, you don't get tested. Well, you'll get tested enough during the SEC. But I like what Coach Maneri did here. He brought in Maryland, who, if you looked at every team, Maryland was picked to win the Big Ten. They're still picked to win the Big Ten. Very good team. Wichita State comes in. They haven't been great over the last few years, but the tradition and the program they've got. They go to Houston. I mean, they've played some really good teams. In Houston, it was incredible, even for me. I've never even been to Houston, to that ballpark, Minute Maid Ballpark. So for Doug and I, we sat in the broadcast booth and was able to do the radio games. It was an electric atmosphere. The Friday night game against TCU, playing the number 1 team in the country, LSU, and on some polls was 2, and a lot of polls they were 3 and 4. The purple was in full force because of TCU and LSU, but the crowds were big. They opened up the upper deck and they had a bunch of crowds in there. So I think the Kramer Robertsons, the Cole Freemans of the world, they're going to be fine. They've played in front of big crowds. What that does is helps the Josh Smiths, the Kramer, Jake Slaughters, Eric Walker, who threw a nice game on Sunday over there in Houston. Helps them get the juices flowing a little bit and understand that this is major college baseball, not that they needed a reminder.
All right, let me tell you what we got coming up on this week's edition of the post-game show. First off, I'll tell you next week's 4 o'clock as the last game in the Georgia 3-game home set. First pitch is set for 1, so 4 o'clock or a little bit after. Lots to get into tonight. I know it's Selection Sunday. We want to tip our hat to the UNO Privateer basketball team of the Southland Conference, the only men's team from Louisiana in the NCAA tournament. They're in a play-in game against Mount St. Mary's up in Dayton, Ohio this week. If they win that, they get Villanova. So, hey, Mark Schlesinger and the UNO Privateers, first time since 1996 that they are in the postseason. So a huge tip of the hat to them. We'll tell you about LSU gymnastics. They picked up a non-conference win the other night on senior night. Conference tournament coming up in Jacksonville this weekend. Softball wrapping up Game 3 with Auburn as we speak. Baseball has added a game to the schedule Tuesday night. Louisiana College will take the place of the canceled game with San Diego. Wednesday, University of New Orleans baseball team, Blake Dean, your old teammate, he comes into town with the Privateers for Game 2 of the season series with them. And then, of course, Georgia next weekend for the SEC series. Basketball Friday, the announcement that didn't surprise anybody. Joe Oliva announces that Johnny Jones and all 3 of his assistant coaches were fired. And a sad note, Ben Jobe, legendary Southern basketball coach. He was a 15 seed when he beat Georgia Tech, who was the 2 seed many years ago. A great man. Scott Rabelais wrote a nice article in The Advocate about Ben Jobe, the man, not just a great coach. And I was fortunate enough many years ago to be at a lunch table where it was like 4 or 5 of us, and Ben Jobe was there, and I enjoyed every minute of visiting with him. Interviewed him on the radio a few times back in the day. Passed away at the age of 84. A true Southern Jaguar legend, a great man, a great basketball coach. Worked with some of the Team USA teams as well. So we got a lot happening, a lot to get into tonight. And oh, by the way, this football team started spring practice. So Ed Orgeron there, they got it going yesterday with helmets only. They'll work out again this week. So we're jam-packed. We do welcome your phone calls at 225-928-4910. Or if you'd like to send a text message, it's area code 689-9246. With College World Series champion Buzzy Hydell, I am Tommy Christ, and we got more of the post-game show on WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge, and Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Cox Cable, AT&T U-verse, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us. Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff, have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation, because we know how to make you smile.
If you've been injured in an accident and you won your case, we can get you your cash fast.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
If you're a victim of an accident, bad drug case, or any other legal settlement, Penn Funding can get you paid in one lump sum.
Instead of my small monthly payments, Penn Funding got me my money when I needed it the most.
Turn your small monthly settlement payments into one large cash payoff right now. If your case is settled, you qualify. And no one can get your money faster than Penn Funding. There's no risk, obligation, or out-of-pocket cost when you make this life-changing call.
I called, answered the questions, and received my cash payoff quickly.
Need cash for your children, to fix your car, pay the bills. If your case is settled and you're a victim of an accident, bad drug case, or any other legal settlement, it's your money. Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-825-1325, 800-825-1325.
We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show right here on radio and TV. Buzzy Hydell, World Series, College World Series champion, former Tiger player, former East Ascension star. Buzzy, tell the folks what you're doing right now over at the Morris Insurance Group.
Yeah, thank you, TK. Me and my business partner, Dustin Wamskins, as you can see right there, we have actually opened up an independent insurance agent. We're with the Morris Insurance Group, that's who we write through. And all your needs, Tommy. So if you've got auto, home, commercial, workers' comp, life insurance, all the insurance needs that you're in need of, we'd like to be there for you and take care of you. Give us a call, 225-931-8531. That's 225-931-8531. Or you can email us right there, buzzy@morris-ig.com. And again, what we like to do, we like to get on the phone with you, whether you come in for a consultation or just over the phone. We like to break down, kind of tell you everything, what you need from insurance, what maybe you don't need, and get you something that you can afford, the coverage you need, and just be there for you to always answer the phone. And that's kind of what we pride ourselves on. If you've got really any insurance product, give us a call. If you got the big three, I call the big three: State Farm, Allstate, Liberty Mutual. For sure, if you got those three, give us a call. We can most likely save you money and give you just as good a coverage, or if not better coverage, and still save you money. So give us a call. We'd love to help you. 225-931-8531. We'll answer the phone call and answer any questions you have.
All right, and Buzzy, having been someone who used to be in the insurance business, a lot of people don't understand it, and that's what you and Dustin can do, is explain things to them and why this coverage is this and why you might need to be higher, or if somebody's good to go, you'll tell them, hey, you have what you need and you're in good shape.
It's such a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things I don't love doing, because I want your business, so I'm going to try to compete for it and get it, but if you're fine where you are, I have no problem telling you, you know what, now you know they're not charging you too much. You've got the coverage you need, so you're good. We can't maybe help you out this time, but call us on your renewal. We'll help you out then. Very good point, Tommy.
Once again, LSU sweeps Wichita State. Give Buzzy a call or hit him up with the email. Ask for Dustin or Buzzy. Both of them. One of them, I can assure you, will be glad to take care of you. So check them out. And Buzzy's going to be with us this week on Tigers Roar as well, and we'll give you that information again. And, of course, we put these shows to YouTube, so no excuse for not getting a hold of Dustin and Buzzy. You see the final score on Game 3. The sweep, 9-2, LSU in control all three games. Lang with another outstanding performance on Friday night. Poche, remarkable again. Walker and company, they get the job done today as they sweep. Tuesday night at home against Louisiana College. Wednesday at home against the University of New Orleans. Georgia Bulldogs, SEC games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the box. Buzzy, spring football started. Coach Ed Orgeron, his first spring as the head coach of LSU. Matt Canada, and I read some of the stuff. It said Matt Canada coaches offense like they coach defense. He's animated, he's loud, he's running all over. If you're out at practice, you know where Matt Canada is, just like in the years going by, you knew where Ed Orgeron was, or you know where Pete Jenkins is. So just some helmets on Saturday kind of knocked the rust off a little bit. Got some guys that have changed the jersey numbers. You can figure that out later. Few guys changing positions. That tends to happen in spring practice for a lot of teams. But, Buzzy, spring football, you were a quarterback back in the day at East Ascension. Spring football is a time to get reps, to learn, to make yourself better, for the coaches to learn what the guys can do. And they'll work out, counting the one that's already in the books, they got 14 more workouts, including the spring game, April 22.
Well, and there's probably no better, this is probably the most important time, especially for Matt Canada being a new offensive coordinator coming in, trying to see what he has with Danny Etling and all the quarterbacks, and just his offense in general. You know, we know what Ed Orgeron can do. He proved it last year. He brought new energy. He brought new life. But I think this is very important. I think this is very important for Matt Canada. And it's funny you brought it up. Everyone is talking about Ed Orgeron. This is the Ed Orgeron era, and it's his time to prove a Louisiana boy. You know, nobody wants this job more than Ed Orgeron. But I'm interested with Matt Canada, and I saw some videos, just like you said, of Canada working with the quarterbacks, working with the receivers. And look, I don't know Matt Canada. I never met him. But if you tell me to tell somebody something about him by the first 30 seconds that I saw of the video clip, I could tell you he's energetic, he's fiery, and it looks like he's a perfectionist, which is all good things you want as a coach. I mean, I think I heard him say somebody, you know, if you're going to carry the ball like that, we're not, you know, if you're going to carry the ball like that, or if you're not going to hang on to the ball, we're not going to give you the ball. So, you know, it was just one clip I heard when I was watching some of the highlights, but very interested to see what he's going to do. And I think all fans are, Tommy, about this offense and what's going to be new and what's going to be different now that Les Miles, you know, is not here anymore.
Well, let's talk about the offense in a minute. But first, I want your thoughts, your take on Ed Orgeron. You know, we've kind of heard of Ed Orgeron for a while. Spent a year with the Saints on his staff, and he's bounced around. Of course, everybody knew he was at Ole Miss many years ago. We know the story, the Louisiana guy, all that stuff. But now that you've had some time, he was on the staff. Then he became the interim head coach, a job he did well, just like he did at Southern Cal. Now he's the head guy. How does Buzzy view that whole picture?
Yeah, well, I think it's a nice hire. I really do. And I think he was the guy you had to give the job to. If you couldn't, and I don't want this to be kind of a backhanded compliment, but if you couldn't go get the guy that you wanted. You know, I don't know who that guy was. I don't know if it was, the Houston coach you took, Tom Herman. I don't know if it was Tom Herman. Was it Jimbo Fisher? Whoever that guy was that was your number one on the checklist, or number two. if you couldn't get that guy, I don't think you go settle and just try to get some other random guy just because you didn't want Ed Orgeron because maybe he didn't have success at Ole Miss or his past head coaching positions. Once they couldn't get their head guy, I think Ed Orgeron was the man, and so I like the hire. As far, look, LSU's not in a position to just hire a guy because it's a feel-good story and they want to make, want everyone to be all warm and fuzzy inside. They need to hire the best possible candidate. And once the couple guys that they couldn't get did not come, I think he was the best possible candidate. And look, they didn't have to pay. Look, I don't know all the details behind the money and how that works, but I know they didn't have to pay him a lot, what they would have to pay, the Jimbo Fishers of the world and that type of thing. So you got one. Let's see what he can do. And again, where LSU's not in a position to give the let's see what he can do. We got to win right away. That's why they got rid of Les Miles. But I really do. I like the hire. And I think what Ed Orgeron's doing, he learned from his failures. He learned from what not to do at Ole Miss. He had some success at USC when he was the interim coach. Now, I think he's grown as a coach, and I'm excited to see how he's going to work out.
Well, I've said it a bunch since he got the permanent job. If in 2, 3, 4 years this does not work, let's play that what-if game. It won't be because he didn't bust his butt 24/7 with a passion unlike any other to try to be successful.
Right.
If they have to, Johnny Jones, when he came in, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I thought he deserved a chance when he got here. 5 years later, it didn't work. So he's no longer here. It'll be the same thing for Ed Orgeron. Now, football certainly got a lot more attention than basketball, especially as of late, and especially because Les Miles has got big shoes to fill now.
Sure.
I don't have to go back through the numbers and the stuff he's got hanging on the wall, okay? But Ed Orgeron, we will see. I think he has a great chance to be successful. His salary allowed them to kick it up for the coordinators. That might be a market correction nationwide if it works. Okay, other ADs will be like, "Wait a minute, we're going to
take a little bit from you.
We're going to take $10 million and give it to the head coach and 2 coordinators instead of 8 to one guy and 1 each to the other."
Right.
Could be a little market correction if it works. Okay. But no, Ed Orgeron, he pushed all the right buttons when he got the interim tag. He got to be friends with the media, the fans. He got everybody on his side, and most importantly,
the offense looked differently.
Well, most importantly, he got the players on his side. He started shortening practice. He made it fun. You played football. The worst thing for a football player is practice.
It is.
Am I right? I never played past the youth league level,
but it absolutely
football
is.
Practice. Running out on Friday nights in high school, Saturdays, Sunday. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But nobody likes practicing football on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Am I correct?
No, you're absolutely correct. That's why baseball's fun, right? To practice games, it doesn't matter. That's fun. You got the music playing. Football is. You got coaches yelling at you, getting beat to hell. You got a lot of things going on. It's hot. So you're right. Football is not fun during practice, and Ed Orgeron won his team. One other thing I'd like to say on that is I think Ed Orgeron, they made such a negative, he got negative publicity for what he did at Ole Miss. I think that makes him better for this job because he learned what not to do at an SEC school in the SEC West. Yeah, it was different back in the early 2000s. It's not what it is now, but I think that's going to only make him better. So I look at that as not really a negative, but a positive in that I think he's a pretty smart man. I don't think he's going to make the same mistakes he did at Ole Miss at LSU. He might fail for a totally different reason, but it ain't going to be those reasons.
Well, and I go to that basketball guy, Michael Jordan. He said, I made hundreds of great shots, and it's because I missed thousands of great shots.
100%, yep.
So we're all products of our experience, and the more experience, in theory, the better the product. So, no, I think it'll be fine. I think, they're going to move the spring game to at night on Saturday, April 22. Baseball's out of town that weekend. Softball's home, but baseball's out of town. I don't think they're going to have a record crowd, but I think they'll have a good number of people there because of Matt Canada, because of Ed Orgeron, and because of the players. And then, obviously, Buzzy, the number one topic in the history of sports in Baton Rouge, whether it's newspaper, magazine, radio, TV, now social media and internet, is the LSU quarterback position. The starter, the backup, who's the third guy, who's the recruit. Nothing, I've been in Baton Rouge since the mid-'90s. Nothing gets talked about more than the LSU quarterback position, and never will change. And it was like that back in the 60s and the 70s as well when Charlie Mack was alternating Burt Jones, okay? There was a lot of controversy on that, understandably so. So that's all going to add fuel to this fire. LSU has a tough schedule next year, especially the back end of it. And spring practice is going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah, and it should, because of, like you said, all the excitement. Look, we've been set to the Les Miles, song and dance 12 years, 11 years, whatever it's been. So this new blood, like I think it's exciting. It's going to get this LSU fan base. Not that they were getting disinterested. I mean, they're going to always be there. But the change was needed. Even though I was a big Les Miles supporter, we've talked about that before. I thought he did a hell of a job here and represented this university unbelievably. But it was time for change, and I think Ed Ogeron will be a good fit.
I agree with that. It was definitely time for a change, and Les Miles had some flaws that we can accurately point out, but the guy won a lot of football games, a national title, played for another national title, won 2 SEC titles, and pushed a heck of a lot of guys into the NFL. So
you can't fault what he did here at LSU. I mean,
he'll be remembered favorably in the big picture.
I you took the words right out of my mouth. You give it 5 years. It ain't going to take long, but give it some years. Let Ed Ogeron have some success, too. He's going to be thought of as a positive guy for this university instead of maybe the way he went out.
All right, we got Buzzy Heidel. I'm Tommy Krysan. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about LSU athletics, including the fact that men's basketball is now looking for a head coach. Football and basketball changing in the same year. That doesn't happen often at many Power 5 schools. We'll be right back after this pause. WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge, and Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. Do stay with us.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Perkins Road Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital committed to your pet's health. We offer advanced diagnostic and therapeutic medical services, laser surgery, dog and cat diets, and treats, along with stress-free boarding. Dr. Ritchie sees patients for routine checkups to keep your loved ones happy, also advanced medical and surgical cases. We have separate condos for cat boarding and large climate-controlled canine boarding. Our boarding dogs get to have fun in a very large play yard several times a day. Laser therapy is a service that we offer to heal wounds and help our patients that suffer from chronic pain. Laser therapy is a wonderful adjunct treatment for neurologic and arthritic pain with no side effects. Your pets are family members and deserve the best and highest quality of care. Dr. Ritchie and his staff greatly respect the human-animal bond and are committed to exceeding your expectations.
Everyone's coming out with a fresh start. Bars are going to be banging, elbows are swinging, and the gloves are coming off.
Experience motocross more intense with AMSOIL Arena Cross. Before the race, check out the track party and get autographs, take photos, and meet the riders. Stop by any Brothers Food Mart location and pick up a can of Monster Energy 16-ounce at 2 for $4 and recycle at the pit entrance for your free admission to the track party. Brothers Food Mart, often imitated, never duplicated. AMSOIL Arena Cross, fueled by Monster Energy. Saturday, March 11th at the Smoothie King Center.
We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show. Buzzy Hydell, Tommy Krysan with you. Phone lines are open. 225-928-4910 if you want to give us a call. If you'd like to send a text message, area code 504-689-9246. Can't go any further without telling you about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Mike Tremonti and the staff. Saturday, March 18th. This coming Saturday, a huge meat sale, seafood sale, prices like you've never seen. You got to fill up the freezer, fill up the neighbor's freezer, go buy a new freezer, fill it up. Tremonti's.com, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, this Saturday, March 18th. Meat sale, they got Louisiana crawfish tails, $10.99 a pound. Live crawfish for $1.49 a pound. And they just have it all in this meat sale. Everything from the hamburgers to the steaks to the ribs to the prime rib. You got to be there this Saturday, March the 18th. 225-751-7665 is the number to call. Tremontis.com, the website loaded with information, daily lunch specials, crawfish every day. They've got them live. They'll boil them for you. They'll cater your event. They've got the high-end spirits, the wine lifts, the coolers, the grills. They got it all at Tremonti's. And do not forget, Saturday, March 18th, the huge meat sale and seafood sale. Prices like you've never seen. One day, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to their website to get the info. Find them on Facebook, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, right there on Jefferson Highway, just down the street from Parkview Baptist School and Church. Check out Mike and his staff. You'll be glad that you did. Buzzy, I know you know Mike very well, yeah. And he got some good steaks over there you've eaten, I know.
Unbelievable. When deer season comes around, we do Tremonti's takes care of us, and we do it. We do it right at the camp. Let's just say it like that.
We're continuing with the spring post-game show, talking about all kind of things on the heels of LSU's sweep over Wichita State. And the games coming up this weekend, including conference play starting this weekend. The Georgia Bulldogs coming to Baton Rouge. Buzzy, Friday, the formal announcement by Director of Athletics Joe Oliva that Johnny Jones and his 3 assistant coaches have been dismissed, fired, relieved of their duties, whatever you want to call it, as it's time for the basketball program to go in a different direction. I think everybody says, Johnny's a great guy. Everybody wanted him to succeed. I felt the day he got hired, he deserved the chance. He'd paid some dues. He deserved a chance to see if he could be the guy and win a national championship at LSU. It did not work that way. Really started coming apart last year during that whole Ben Simmons debacle, and then this year, especially into conference play, it just went south in a hurry. And everyone, including Johnny Jones, probably knew that what has ultimately happened was going to happen.
Yeah, and it's disappointing because, as you said, Tommy, Johnny Jones, it's an LSU boy. It's a guy that, came to this school. He played here. He had some success at North Texas before coming here, and it just didn't work out for him for whatever reason. I'm not a basketball guy. I don't know the X's and O's. I can't tell you why he didn't play well. I know they gave up a bunch of points, a lot of games, and certainly that didn't help. But and Johnny Jones talked about this, and I heard a lot of his final press conferences about how. Players, it'll be better for them down the road. They'll learn from this. They'll be better men, and it's tough to swallow sometimes. In 2007, for the LSU baseball program, we're part of a pretty bad LSU baseball team. Now, fortunately for me, my career, Coach Maneri, he was able to right the ship. 2008, 2009, of course, he's still there. Johnny Jones wasn't able to right the ship. It's tough. You hope whoever LSU goes with next, it's the right hire. They've missed on a few here on the last few hires after John Brady. It kind of brings me back to what I've said. John Brady, and that seems like decades ago that he was the coach, but he had success. Maybe it wasn't the success that the LSU program was looking for, but he had a lot of success.
Well, he got to the Final Four.
And compared to what the players, it just seemed like the energy was better there. I think that's the main thing. You look in the crowds, and look, winning is going to do that. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems like the energy's not there in that PMAC, and that's what's tough to swallow. I was there in that 06 year when Big Baby Davis and all these guys, and they went to that Final Four. That was electric to go into the PMAC and see these teams compete and play, and of course they made it to the Final Four, and it was just a heck of a year. But wish the best for Johnny Jones. I don't know him personally, but everything I've heard about the man, he's a great man. He loves LSU, and you hate to see a guy like that not succeed.
Well, and I'll say this on his behalf. and I know him a little bit, but wasn't around him lately, but I've interviewed him many times and I know him. And he handled the situation with class,
He did.
even during the losing streak. It had to be tough, but he, no matter what he said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But he said the right things. He put the players first. He did it right. His tweet after he got fired was, it was an honor to serve LSU for 22 years and great fans and all this stuff. Like Les Miles handled the way things ended with class, even though it didn't end for either guy the way they would have chosen if they could have wrote the script, okay? Which goes back to they hired good people. It just didn't work, okay? That happens every day in college athletics. It happens in pros, but we're talking college right now.
Right.
So, Johnny will land on his feet. Yeah, I feel quite confident that he's only 55 years old. If he wants to coach more, somebody will be happy to put him on the staff, and maybe he wants time off. I don't know. I have not spoke to him about that. So, I think he handled it as well as you can handle a situation like that. It's tough on that, man. When you're losing 15 in a row, I mean, it's tough. And it's hard to keep working hard. It's hard to keep, focused. And I thought they did the best they could. They just don't have the talent. In a weak basketball conference. The SEC is not the strongest basketball conference in the country by no means, yet they finished, at the bottom.
And that's the thing, Tom, and I look back at it. Johnny Jones didn't take one shot, didn't make one rebound, didn't make one pass. Okay, he's the coach now. He gets blamed for it.
Well, he would get the credit if they were champs. So.
Sure, and he would get the credit. Johnny Jones did a great job, but you are the head coach. It's your job to recruit good players. People say, well, the talent's not there. Well, it falls back on the head coach. I'm not saying that. With all that being said, it would have been very easy for him to, the old saying, throw everyone under the bus, the players included. He never did that. And Les Miles never did that. And I admire that about those two guys. As you said, they took the high road. They didn't, again, I mean, you can, as players, at some point you've got to make plays. I mean, coaches can call all the plays, put you in position, but at some point you got to make the plays. LSU didn't make enough plays throughout Johnny Jones' tenure here, and it would have been very easy, I think, for coaches who know they're on the hot seat, who know they're getting fired at the end of the year to just say, well, we're not good enough, we don't have the good enough players, and throw young kids, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids under the bus. He never did that.
Well, also in the, we'll see what happens. There'll be a national search according to Joe Oliva, and there's been names bandied about like crazy. Some names have some LSU ties, actually, and there's some names with Louisiana ties. We'll just wait and see. But, I would think it could be a little while because you would hope that some of the coaches they're talking to are in the March Madness NCAA tournament or at the very least in the NIT tournament or whatever. And I don't know if he would reach in for an assistant in the NBA ranks. All Joe Oliva said at his presser Friday was he wanted a proven winner. So that kind of leaves it wide open, so.
Yeah, very wide open. And again, there was not a situation like the football where, you had an interim takeover. He let Johnny Jones finish and fired everyone. So, I mean, this is going to be a different situation where, as you said, it's going to be, all hands on deck. Let's go get the best guy for the job.
Also, gymnastics with a nice win against New Hampshire, the Tiger gymnastic team. They got their SEC tournament in Jacksonville, Florida this upcoming weekend. Softball, we got they're trailing in Game 3 late, playing over in Auburn. They had to dodge a few raindrops as well. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little March Madness for you, a couple other things. Buzzy Heidel, Tommy Kreisand, we'll be right back after this pause on the Pelican Sports Spring Postgame Show. Radio and TV coming right at you. Stay with us. Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope.
and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
DLA Painting Incorporated is your company for professional painting, serving the greater Baton Rouge area and South Louisiana for over 20 years. Ready to paint for those recovering from flood, residential repaint, commercial painting, any size job, free estimates. Customer satisfaction is our highest priority. Call 225-505-8785. DLA Painting Incorporated, fully insured. Call Dennis at DLA Painting at 225-505-8785.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
I want to tell you about WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. The daily local radio lineup includes Jordy Hultberg, talking baseball with Coach Roger Kadar on Mondays, 12 noon and 5 p.m. Buddy Sanji, myself, Dave Scandaliato, all your sports wagering info on a Friday. Saturday mornings, Carlos Brown. Through the night, Louisiana Music Hall of Fame radio and select Houston Astros games on WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. Do check it out. As you looking around, and go to your app store, go to Google Play. We have our own app now. Just search WUBR Pelican Sports Radio. You got it crystal clear. You can take it with you 24/7. You're out of town, want to know what's going on, you got it. Just search WUBR, search Pelican Sports Radio in the App Store. We got our own app. There's lots of other cool things there as well. So check that out. Many of you have, and we appreciate that going forward. Buzzy Hydell with us. Buzzy, March Madness, Selection Sunday. I hadn't had a chance to look at the brackets yet because you and I were preparing and doing the show here. But I do want to, again, say a tip of the hat to the UNO Privateers and Coach Mark Schlesinger. Buzzy, this place, after Katrina, they didn't know if that school was going to reopen. They didn't know if they'd have athletics, or would they be Division I, Division II, Division III? Oh, no, we're going to be one. Probably the best thing that happens is they got in the Southland Conference. It's a very good league, in particular in baseball. Ask LSU. They've lost to UNO and McNeese from the Southland Conference. But, you know, but Paul Manette be the first to tell you they play good baseball in the Southland Conference. So anyway, so you got UNO in the tournament. They're in a play-in game up in Dayton. They will play Mount St. Mary's from the Northeast Conference. It's not the St. Mary's from California. If they win, they get a #1 seed in Villanova. So at least they're in. They're lone men's rep. There'll be some women's team in, and Coach Nikki, including Coach Nikki Fargus' Lady Tigers. I expect them to be in the tournament. But that's quite the story down there with UNO basketball. first postseason appearance since 1996.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you talked about it. They play good baseball. You know, Coach Blake Dean down there at UNO has kind of put some energy back into that program. They went Division III for a year or two, and then, as you said, they got back in that Southland Conference. That was big for them. They're going to be the only school from Louisiana representing Louisiana in the big dance. One of the best events, I think, sporting events, is March Madness. I mean, when those first couple days are going on, they got games on every channel. Really cool to see, and hopefully UNO can get a nice win against their first round opponent and can get a dance with Villanova. That'd be something they can tell their grandchildren down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Just going to the tournament is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just like you can tell people you're a College World Series champion, and you hit the last home run in the box.
It's funny though. My little
we don't have that clip. We'll have it Wednesday.
My little girl's one. She's gonna be 3, and the other one's 1. You know, they don't care that Daddy did that, right?
Not now.
Not yet.
No. And they're going to hit a point where they're going to be glad about it. Then they're going to be tired of hearing about it, okay? My kids are older. They don't want to hear about anything I did, okay, good or bad. But anyway, so no, that's what you got there with UNO. A huge congratulations to them going forward. No question that was a job well done. And we'll see what happens with that. I mentioned that Southland Conference Baseball League. Now, LSU swept Wichita State, but Southeastern swept UNO today. This weekend. Southeastern's starting to get some national recognition. Matt Rives done a good job over there. He's been to the NCAA tournament, and they continue to do well. Nichols took 2 out of 3 from Northwestern State on the road this weekend in Southland Conference action. McNeese swept Central Arkansas. So they're playing some baseball in the Southland.
Absolutely. You got Will Davis, former LSU coach at Lamar,
right,
who's got a great program going over there, and they beat LSU last year. And I haven't checked their schedule this year, but just as you said, that Southland Conference is a program or a conference that's if they're not up there, they're certainly on the rise, because they've got some teams, and the thing that's different, the coaches are good in that league now. You know, it's something to go coach for Southeastern, or like Will Davis did, go to Lamar, Blake Dean over at UNO. I mean, they got guys that can play now, and baseball's a funny game, man. It just takes one guy to equalize you on that other side.
Yeah, there's no question about that. You throw strikes like we were talking earlier. You command the strike zone.
Absolutely.
And you can pinpoint the ball. You can get people out, which is what it's all about when you put the ball in your hand when you're on the bump. No question about that. That's what we have there for the March Madness. All right, I got this question for you, the burning question. How many brackets does Buzzy Heidel fill out?
I usually just fill out one. I got to say, I usually just fill out one. I think the only time I actually ever won the bracket, I was in college and I couldn't accept the money. I'd been an NCAA violation. So I said that's about right. The only time I win, I've been in about 5 or 6 after I've gotten out of college. Not even close to winning. But thing about me is I kind of get like my wife, if she picked out the tournament, she'd pick out the colors of the teams, and she don't know any teams that are in it. I think I'm going that route this year, because I hadn't really paid attention to a lot of basketball. I'm just going with the names I like and the colors.
Look, I'm a one bracket guy, okay, and I don't follow college basketball like I once did, and not as much as some people do. But I'll fill out a bracket just so I can talk about it on radio. But it cracks me up, these guys that my friends will come up to me, man, he goes, man, I got 82% right in my bracket. I said, which bracket? I said, the one with my friends in New Orleans. I said, well, how many brackets did you do? 14 of them. Yeah. Well, you ought to have a good one if you did 14 of them. I mean, come on, man. Hey, I'm a one bracket guy, and if I do terrible, which is usually a couple years ago, I did really well for a good while into the Elite 8 or something. I had lots of names accurately picked, but these guys that do 10, 12, 14 brackets, you ought to have a good one if you do it that way.
Chances are, It's just a chances are theory.
I mean, if I do 14 brackets, one of them might look good. If you do one bracket that looks good, then pop off a little bit.
Right, I agree with you, Tommy. I'm a one. If I'm going to do it, hey, I don't have enough time anyway to fill out 14 brackets, so I'm just going to fill out one, give it my best shot.
Hey, he's busy with insurance, and we're going to tell you all about that. Get the pencils and the papers, and the people don't write no more. Get your smartphone ready so you can put in some info. We'll tell you what Buzzy's doing and how he can help you in the world of insurance. Right after this pause, final break here on the Pelican Sports Spring Post Game Show. Radio and TV. Do stay with us. Perkins Grove Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital committed to your pet's health. We offer advanced diagnostic and therapeutic medical services, laser surgery, dog and cat diets, and treats, along with stress-free boarding. Dr. Ritchie sees patients for routine checkups to keep your loved ones happy, also advanced medical and surgical cases. We have separate condos for cat boarding and large climate-controlled canine boarding. Our boarding dogs get to have fun in a very large play yard several times a day. Laser therapy is a service that we offer to heal wounds and help our patients that suffer from chronic pain. Laser therapy is a wonderful adjunct treatment for neurologic and arthritic pain with no side effects. Your pets are family members and deserve the best and highest quality of care. Dr. Ritchie and his staff greatly respect the human-animal bond and are committed to exceeding your expectations.
Plus Benefits has an important message for all uninsured Americans. It's official. Health reform has now become law. Now, uninsured Americans can finally get the health coverage they need with significant prescription benefits. Have you been uninsured, denied coverage, or struggling to pay your health insurance? Well, not anymore. Now there's affordable options with real benefits for people just like you. We know health insurance cost and being denied coverage due to pre-existing conditions has created serious hardships for many Americans. But that's a thing of the past. If you're uninsured, struggling to afford, or have been denied health insurance, pick up the phone and call now. The call is free, and every caller will receive a free discount prescription savings card. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance Helpline today and get the health insurance and prescription coverage you need. One call can change your life for the better.
Please call 800-351-1511. That is 800-351-1511.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support, along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show, having a lot of fun with Buzzy Hydell today, and Buzzy can help you. Buzzy, tell them how.
Yeah, absolutely. Morris Insurance Group, me and my partner, Dustin Wamskins, as you see there, work for the Morris Insurance Group, have our independent agency there, and we love to help you out. We love an opportunity to earn your business. Give us a call, 225-931-8531. That's 225-931-8531. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, life, commercial, life, auto, home, commercial, workers' comp, doesn't matter, whatever you need, give us a call. We'd love to sit down or give a consultation over the phone, tell you what you need, what you don't need, and save you some money. 225-931-8531.
Got the email address up there, too. Hit the email, and they'll be happy to get back with you. So we'll tell you more about the Morris Insurance Group this week, as Buzzy will co-host Tigers Roar with me coming up this Wednesday night, 8 p.m., of course, with all the repeats all over the state. Buzzy, LSU baseball, they sweep Wichita State, have Louisiana College in town Tuesday night to make up the cancellation of the San Diego game.
Yep.
UNO comes to town on Wednesday night, and then the Georgia Bulldogs, and, of course, that's conference play. Buzzy, you've been there, done that. What happens to the mindset, the mental preparation, the physical preparation stays the same. Starting Friday, they got the LSU record. Well, now they're going to add a second record to the press release.
Yeah.
What's it like to shift into conference play?
Well, Coach Maneri would say he doesn't want your mindset to be any different, but in reality, it is different. Maybe not from the player standpoint, but from the coach's standpoint. Like, for instance, this weekend you saw a lot of juggling of the lineup, right? You saw the Watson kid play center. You sort of moved the Plantis over to left. You just saw Maneri kind of experimenting with some things. And as he said, it wasn't that he's not worried about winning those games or he can try to do that because those games don't matter. All the games matter, but you're not going to see that as much. That was his final weekend, talking about this weekend right now against Wichita State, to kind of see who he could count on, who he can trust. And so when it gets to SEC play, it is different because now, as you said, Tommy, there's two different win-loss records that they're keeping track of, and you're trying to win every SEC game you can, because the more you win, the more you're at the top of that league, the better it's going to be for you to host a regional, to get yourself a top 8 national seed, host a super regional. So it is different. It's a lot more energetic. I think you'll see bigger crowds, when the Georgias and the Floridas and the Ole Misses come to town. It's just a lot more exciting. It's usually a little bit better brand of baseball, although you couldn't get much better than over in Houston. And, of course, they played a good Maryland team earlier in the year. But it's usually better baseball on a consistent basis, and you really got to play well to take the series. Not to even mention if you want to sweep a series. I mean, those are hard to do in the SEC because you talked about SEC basketball is not a great basketball conference. SEC baseball is probably the best baseball conference.
I think they are the best. ACC is very good as well, but I think that SEC football and baseball are the two best conferences in America, top to bottom over a period of time. Everybody's got their ups and downs. I get that. So that'll all start next week, and then it's 10 weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a grind. 30 games and, 5 series at home, 5 series away. Some of the series, half of them this year are Thursday, Friday, Saturday series due to television, so that'll move the post-game show around a little bit. But you're used to that with we moving around on the football kickoff times. We moved it around on the baseball tip times and moving it around here on first pitch. Next Sunday, 4 p.m., maybe a little bit after 4, as the Game 3 against Georgia first pitch set for 1 o'clock Sunday. And, of course, the weather can alter all that. That's one thing. Football, other than when LSU plays McNeese, they're going to play. Basketball usually doesn't get rained out. Baseball can.
It's a funny thing. So it's good that they're making this up, because San Diego was going to be a good game, that they didn't play. So good that they're making this up.
Yeah. All right, Buzzy, it's been a lot of fun. A few years ago, you did this Tigers Roar thing with me for a couple of months, and you'll be here this week. Don't forget Tigers Roar Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, 2 hours prime time. He'll tell you all about the Morris Insurance Group and how he can help you and your family at that point in time as well. Don't forget the local radio, guys. Don't forget Facebook. Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. Twitter account is @Pelican Sports. YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Watch a lot of our local stuff at your convenience. Buzzy, thanks a bunch.
Good to be here. Good to see everyone.
On behalf of everybody at Pelican Broadcasting, most importantly, thank you for listening and watching. My name is Tommy Chrysan. Enjoy the week, everyone.